Alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam ala wa rasulullah. Welcome to our Aqidah class, Alhamdulillah. And I want to remind everybody that this class, out of all the classes that we teach here at Sunnah Followers, this is the most important. This is the most important class of all because this class is based on it helps define to us what the belief system of the Muslim entails. Okay, as Muslims, I want everyone listening to me to remember, if your Aqidah or your belief system is not correct, then that means none of our good deeds are accepted. And this is something that many of the new shahadas struggle with. You know, why is it that there will be no Christians in paradise? Why is it that there will be no non-Muslims in paradise? Okay, because first of all, every prophet, alayhi salam, that was sent was Muslim. That was the religion of Jesus, alayhi salam. This was the religion of Moses, Abraham, Adam, all the prophets, Jonah. They were all Muslim. And what does the word Muslim mean? It means one who submits to the will of Allah. Okay. Secondly, Allah tells us in the Quran that he will not accept any way other than the way of Islam, which is total submission to him. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has told us in different hadiths, you don't want to be a bankrupt person. You don't want to stand before Allah on the day of judgment, all your good deeds taken away from you because of the harm you caused others, or even worse, because your belief system was not correct. Y'all understand that? That's some serious stuff. So as Muslims, we have to evaluate our Aqidah on a regular basis. Okay, we have to constantly check our hearts to assure that our hearts are truly sincere in their belief in Allah and their practice of this religion. Okay, and all the classes here that we are showing you, and by the way, is do I have anyone here on Instagram? Did my Instagram video is it still going on Instagram? Hold on for a second. Okay, I see the problem. Hold on. Yeah, I see a problem with Instagram. Hold on. Let me okay, let me get you guys back. Yeah, I see what happened. I tell you, when I'm streaming on all these different platforms, this is so complicated, so hard. Hold on, let me restart it. Well, better. Give me a minute to restart it. Yeah, so hold on. I'm getting ready to put it back up in here. Edit. Where's Instagram? This is Instagram? Okay, hold on. And then this one. Yeah, just bear with me, guys. It just takes a minute. I'm doing everything myself. I don't have anyone to help me. Okay, it should start streaming in a couple of seconds now. 3. Help me. There it is. It's streaming. Okay, it should start streaming in a couple of seconds now. 3. Help me. There. Okay, there it is. So now I should be back live on Instagram, inshallah. Let me try this again. Oh. Okay, there we are. Okay, so now we should be back live on Instagram. Okay, so again, that's why the belief system is so important for the Muslim. It is so important for us as Muslims to assure that our belief system is correct, and we should constantly check our hearts, constantly check, ourselves to make sure that it is in sync as it should be. And again, we have to remember that very famous hadith. Allah doesn't change the condition of a people until those people change the condition of themselves. As Muslims, we have to do a lot of self-evaluation, not just during the month of Ramadan, but on a regular basis. If we want Allah to change the condition of ourselves and make it better than what it is, on an individual basis and a collective basis. And so that's why this class is so important. And for this class, we have been speaking about the concept of wala wal bara, which it refers to having allegiance. The proper allegiance. As Muslims, our allegiance is supposed to be to Allah first and foremost, and then to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then to the believers on earth, no matter who they are or where they are. Anyone who testifies to la ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah, three things about that person is sacred. Number one, their life. Number two, their honor. Number three, their property. And that's when Allah has set up guidelines for us to live amongst each other. As we talked about yesterday in our class on the lawful and unlawful, Allah has set guidelines for us to abide by. Whenever we come together, no slander, no backbiting, no eavesdropping, no spying on one another. We're supposed to be as brothers and sisters to one another. We're supposed to love each other for the sake of Allah. What does that mean? That means look within each other and see the good. Don't focus on the personal things that you dislike about that person due to your jealousy or whatnot. But instead, look beneath that and see the good in that Muslim. The fact that that Muslim prays, that Muslim fears Allah, that Muslim is polite, that Muslim is raising their children to carry on with this beautiful way of life. We have to look and see the good in one another and love each other for that. And we have to advise one another. When we see one another falling off the wagon of faith, we have to be there to help that person to get back on that wagon and pull his share of the load. So we've talked about that. That's what allegiance entails. And also bara, which is the disassociation. As Muslims, we disassociate from anyone or anything that contradicts our Islamic identity, that contradicts our Islamic values and morality. This is why, as Muslims, we don't celebrate non-Muslim holidays, because we have no allegiance to that. Our allegiance is not to the Pilgrims. It's not to the Native Americans. It's not to a flag. We don't pledge allegiance to a flag. We don't pledge allegiance to the flag of America. We don't pledge allegiance to the flag of Palestine either. We don't pledge allegiance to any flag. Like Umar, radiallahu anhu, told the black stone before he kissed it, I'm only kissing you because this is part of the Hajj tradition. I am not kissing you because you represent anything that I have to give allegiance to. Does everyone understand that? That's why I tell you, Muslims, take those flags off your pages. We don't have allegiance to a flag. We don't have allegiance to a country either. Our allegiance is to Allah, to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and to the believers on earth, no matter where they are, where they live. We don't discriminate. We're not supposed to. We don't differentiate. We're not supposed to. We're all one body, each representing a part of it. When one of it hurts, the rest of us feel it. Everybody understand that? So that's what we've been focusing on. And so today we're going to move on in this book. And by the way, the book, for those of you who don't have it, you want to go to Amazon.com. This book is written by Sheikh Karim Abu Zaid. You guys know who he is. It's pretty famous. Sheikh Karim Abu Zaid. This is his book. He did an excellent job breaking down the Shahada, breaking down Wala Wabara and all of that. Okay, so you want to head over to Amazon.com and purchase this book. And also the second book, which we will be beginning, because we're almost done with volume 1 of which focuses on our allegiance and disassociation. I'm trying to find my little thing to put up here with the name of the book for everybody. Why come I can't? Oh, here it is. That's not it. Oh, here it is. Got so much. Yeah, it's on Amazon.com. And the book costs $19.99. You want to get volume 2. If you have this one, which is volume 1, you now want to buy the red book, which is volume 2. Because once we finish this introduction, which are the last 8 chapters of volume 1, the last 8 chapters that we are covering now in volume 1 serve as an intro to volume 2. So this is giving you guys enough time to get your money together to buy the book. So we're on chapter 4, page 284. Today, we'll be covering page 284 of volume 1, from 284 to 287. Okay, open your books up. Because today we're going to speak about how to maintain our Muslim identity, how to maintain our Islamic values, how to maintain our Islamic morality when we're living in a predominantly non-Muslim society, or a predominantly non-Muslim environment. So everybody get their books out. Let me share my screen with the PowerPoint. Turn to page 284, I think it is. I put it on Facebook today. And it speaks about enjoining good. And this section of chapter 4, Sheikh Karim Abu Zaid goes into detail, speaking about how to enjoin the good and how to forbid the evil within a non-Muslim environment. For example, most of you listening to me, either you live in America, which is a non-Muslim country. My second largest amount of students are in the United Kingdom, in Europe. That's a non-Muslim society as well. Some of us here in America, because American Muslims have established their own communities, many of them. You may live in America, but in an Islamic environment, because the houses, everybody on your street is Muslim, the stores, and the same with the United Kingdom. You may be in an area where there's a lot of Muslims, like Birmingham, I heard. Birmingham, United Kingdom. I've never been there, but I hear a lot of Somali. They have a large Somali community because out of my...
Layla,
what?
It's page 287.
Okay.
In non-religious environments,
yes.
Enjoining good and forbidding evil.
Yes.
287.
Okay, everybody, turn to page 287. 287 to 289. That's what it is. 287. Yeah, I heard that there's a lot of Muslims in Birmingham, United Kingdom. I know a lot of my students here are Somali, and they tell me that there's a large Somali community, a large Pakistani community in Leeds and places like that. I've never been to Europe or the United Kingdom, don't have an interest in going to United Kingdom either. I don't care for the United Kingdom, never have. I just don't like their history. But a lot of my students here got relatives that live there. And they say that what they've done is created Islamic communities within the non-Muslim communities, which is good. That's something good, okay? And we've done that here in America. I know in places like Texas, they've done that. Even in New York, in the Brooklyn, the Bronx, we got a lot of Muslim communities, you know, Staten Island, who've done that here too. Okay, so that's what this section focuses on: how to live within a non-Muslim environment, but still enjoying the good and forbid the evil amongst ourselves. And I really like the way Sheikh Kareem Abu Zayd broke this down. So let's take a look at it. Page 287. We have to understand, guys, that controlling the faith-based environment can be very challenging for us as Muslims when we're living in a predominantly non-Muslim population, like here in America and the UK. However, there are still some things that we can do as Muslims that will help us to maintain our identity, that will help us to maintain our Islamic values. And number one, the first thing we can do is, again, it's all about self-evaluation. We have to evaluate and focus on our behavior and actions before we speak. Hold ourselves accountable before we act. Hold ourselves accountable even after speaking, after acting. Hold ourselves accountable and ask, did we do it within the guidelines of Allah, the guidelines of Islam? If we would focus on our actions and our behaviors, this will serve as a positive example, not just to ourselves and our families, but also to the people around us. One of the things I tell the young girls here at my website: before you leave the house, look at yourself in the mirror. Every girl should have a full, I don't have one. My granddaughter took mine. I have to buy another one. In fact, it would go nice in this office I'm in. Every girl should have a full-length mirror, a full-length mirror. And whenever you get ready to leave the house, before you walk out the door, look at yourself in that mirror. Ask yourself, is there any skin showing other than my face and hands? Because that's the only part of the Muslim woman that can be seen as far as skin. Right? This what you see here. So raise your hands up. Remember Aisha, radiallahu anha, said, wherever your sleeve falls, my sleeves and this outfit falls to here. So this can be seen of me. Just my face and hands and where the sleeves fall here. And also, as Aisha, radiallahu anha, said, whatever jewelry you have on can be seen. And Aisha, radiallahu anha, said, whatever makeup you have on can be seen. Henna, nail polish is makeup. In regards to your face, I want you sisters to really take a look at yourself. Makeup is not haram. I repeat, it's not haram. I repeat, it's not haram. The Prophet's wives wore makeup. You can read it right there in Bukhari, in Muslim. What do you think kohl is? What do you think henna is? What do you think painting the nails is? That's all makeup. But there's a limit to that. You should not look like a prostitute when you walk out that house. Nowhere does Allah say that a woman should be invisible. Oh no, because how can I be invisible? I ain't no angel. Okay? I am not part of the unseen world. What are you calling me, a jinn? Oh no. But Allah says, do not look the way you looked before Islam, as a prostitute. So every girl over the age of 7 should be wearing hijab, should be wearing jilbab when she leaves the house. So you look in that mirror, hold yourself accountable. Can anybody see my legs? No. Can anybody see the top of my feet? The top of your feet are to be covered. Just this can be seen as far as skin. And any makeup, I got my kohl on. I don't look like a prostitute. All I have on is kohl for me. I don't even have lipstick on. This is me. Just kohl. That's all I usually wear anyway. Okay? And then check your garment. Make sure that whatever abaya, and you should be wearing an abaya, not a pair of blue jeans that show the shape of your legs and a little tank top. No, you should have on an overgarment, a jilbab, which means overgarment, like what I have on. Stand in front of that mirror. Turn around slowly. Can they see the shape of your body? Is your breast emphasized? Are your hips emphasized? If they are, change into something else. Whatever overgarment you have should be loose fitting. Whereas people cannot see the accentuation of your curves. That's holding yourself accountable. If you fit that, then you can leave the house. But every Muslim girl and woman should look at herself in that full-length mirror before she leaves out, to make sure she doesn't look like a prostitute and to make sure she's covered properly. If you notice you got on too much makeup, take it off. If you sparkling in the sun, take that crap off, sisters. Y'all understand that? That's an example, of maintaining your Islamic identity in a non-Muslim environment, because the Muslim women don't dress like us. The Muslim women overdo it with makeup. The Muslim women go to the extremes in emphasizing their looks. So we have to not fall into their category. So we have to hold ourselves ourselves accountable. So that's an example as to how we can focus on our behavior, focus on our actions, and in turn maintain our Muslim identity in a non-Muslim environment. Also, the second thing we can do is seek out other Muslims. Look around in the suburb or the city you live in. Are there other Muslims around you? And if there are, try to form groups. This is something we talked about today with the Sunnah follower kids. The non-Muslims, they have the Girl Scouts. How many of you knew that we have Muslim Girl Scouts too? You can charter a Muslim Girl Scout group. You can charter a Boy Scout group for Muslims. It's not hard to do. They've done it here in my city. So if you see that there are other Muslims in your community, try to establish organizations and clubs that you can all come together to unite at. Not just the mosque. Of course, we already talked about the mosque yesterday. But also you want outside of the mosque activities. Put together a Muslim Girl Scout group, a Muslim Boy Scout group, and things like that, so that we can maintain that identity together. Because remember, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the greatest weapon that we have against shaitan is each other. Okay. Thirdly, We can, and I don't recommend this for the children, only for the adults. If you're living in a predominantly non-Muslim environment and you are an adult, you can reach out and participate with the non-Muslims in trying to do away with the misconception they have about Islam. For example, let's say that your community is opening up a food pantry and they want to give out food once a week or once a month. You can volunteer to participate because you're representing a Muslim. You're representing Islam. You're showing them that we too care about the poor. We too want to contribute to building positive initiatives within our environment and society. But I don't recommend that for your children. Do not allow your children to participate in any interfaith or food pantry stuff with non-Muslims, because children will become susceptible to what's around them, especially if they are outnumbered, which they are by the non-Muslims. Keep your kids away from them. Keep your kids away, for you do well better. Disassociate your kids from non-Muslims, period, if you can. You got to seek out Muslim friends and associates, practicing Muslim friends for your children. But for you as an adult, you want to participate. The church wants the mosque to participate with them in a food pantry. Oh yeah, we'll do that. If a church wants the mosque to participate in some interfaith dialogue about, how Islam is all about, getting along with others. If they want you to come and speak about Palestine, about Gaza, you as an adult can do that. Okay. So those are just some of the things we can do to maintain our sense of identity in a non-Muslim environment. So it's not easy. It's not easy to maintain our values and morality in a non-Muslim environment, but it can be done. It can be done. We have to keep the hope, and we have to want to do that. And one of the best ways to do it is through enjoining good and forbidding evil too. Okay? A lot of the communities have crime watch. Okay? You see somebody trying to break into your neighbor's house. You want to let it be known. Oh, I saw someone trying to break in your house last night. Or you see a neighbor's daughter climbing out the window in the middle of the night so she can meet with her boyfriend. You can go to that neighbor and let him know, I saw your daughter sneaking out last night. As Muslims, we lead by example. Our Islamic values are good and clean because they came from Allah. Even a non-Muslim doesn't want their daughters having boyfriends at the age of 12. Even the non-Muslims don't want their kids doing drugs. So if you see something like that, let the people know that, your neighbors know. This will help to not only protect your faith-centered environment, but also it'll cause the non-Muslims to gain respect for us as well. And let's talk about that. The Prophet ﷺ told us, whenever we see an evil, we should try to change it with our hand. And if we can't with the hand, then speak out against it. Maybe you can't stop the neighbor's daughter from sneaking out the house, but you can go and report it to her parents. So we should use words to advocate for good, and use words to discourage what is harmful or evil. This is what our Prophet ﷺ taught us to do. But oftentimes, like even at work, for example, say at work, you see a co-worker trying to steal something. You go and report it to the supervisor because that person could have been stealing from you. So again, as Muslims, we don't sit there and watch the evil and do nothing. We either try to stop it physically. If we can't, then speak out against it. But we may often find ourselves in situations where we can't even speak out against it. So what's the last resort? To hate it in your heart. And a lot of Muslims don't understand what that means. When we talk about hate it in your heart, that entails making dua, making dua, making dua. You don't want to be like the Sabbath breakers that Allah speaks about in the Quran. And let's talk about this group of people. These were from the people that came before us. Allah speaks in the Quran about how a group of people in a city, they kept breaking their Sabbath, despite Allah warning them against it. So a group of righteous people got together and tried to get them to stop breaking the Sabbath. But these people made fun of them and ridiculed them. So the righteous people said, well, we don't want to be a part of this. So what they did was they built a wall between them and the bad Sabbath breakers. So they separated themselves from the wickedness that was around them. And so this story serves as a great reminder for us as Muslims, how even if we can't change the evil with our hand, even if we can't change it with our tongue, we still have to strive to avoid environments that promote evil, environments that go against our Islamic morals and scruples, even if it entails building a wall around us or creating a city of our own within a city. That's what a lot of Muslims have done here in America, and that's what they've done in Europe, I understand too. They've created a Muslim city within a non-Muslim city. We got our own apartments, our own schools. I look at places like Dearborn, Michigan. You know, I love Dearborn, Michigan. They're mostly Shiites, but still, you know, they're Muslim. You know, the Muslim stores, Muslim schools, Muslim banks, everything in Dearborn is owned by the Muslims. The mayor is Muslim. They call it little Lebanon. They've created their own environment within an environment. You know, so this is what this story reminds us of. Again, as Muslims, we have to avoid compromising our morality, compromising our Islamic scruples. And many of us are failing the test with that. We have our children in non-Muslim schools, and our children have adapted the ideology of the non-Muslims, the behavior. They talk like them. They walk like them. They dress like them. This is all wrong, guys. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. Listen to what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. He said trials and tribulations will be exposed to the hearts of the people like a reed mat, stick by stick. Any heart afflicted by them will have a black mark put on it, but any heart that rejects them will have a white mark put on it. So there will be two kinds of hearts, one that is white like a gemstone, and this heart will not be harmed by the trials. Then the other heart is black and dusty like a worn out vessel, and it will receive nothing good, nor will it reject evil. Instead, it'll become absorbed into its desires. This is a powerful hadith, one of my favorite hadiths, because it illustrates the importance of the heart when we're faced with trials and tribulations. Remember, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that you can tell how strong a person's faith is by their initial reaction when something bad happens. That hadith about the woman who was in the graveyard crying. And the prophet told her to have patience. And she told him, you don't know what I've been through. And then when she approached the prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after the prophet said what everybody knows, he said, because that's just that one part, but there's more to this hadith. The prophet also, not only did he say patience manifests itself at the first strike of a hardship, he went on to say there are different branches of faith. Haya is a branch of faith. That's modesty. Patience is a branch of faith. Truthfulness is a branch of faith. Strength under hardship is a branch of faith. So faith consists of many different branches. And you can tell how strong a person's iman is when something bad happens. How will they react? That shows you their faith. Look what's going on in the world around us today. We have a big tragedy going on with Gaza. They're just killing Muslims. Look at how it's impacted the Muslim world. Look how many Muslim men that you know who are famous speakers don't know how to handle themselves now. They're breaking down. They're saying things, oh my God, you can't even handle your life. I look at some of these people I know. I thought you were strong. Boy, you don't have no control over your life. You freaking out over Palestine and Gaza. Oh my God, dude, what is your problem? Pull it together. So we can tell how strong a person's heart and iman is, as the prophet is saying, you know, when a tribulation happens. Because whatever tribulation Allah sends will let you know just where that person is in their belief system. Okay? So now let's see how well you guys understood this lecture today. It's all about, I repeat, it's all about maintaining your Muslim identity, your Muslim morality, your Muslim values, even if you're living in a predominantly non-Muslim environment. So I just have two questions to see how well you guys understood this. Question number one. Give me some examples. Give me some examples of organizations or groups that Muslims living in non-Muslim environments can formulate to help them to maintain their Muslim identity while promoting Islamic values to the community. Let's see if you can come up with some. Take the mic, please.
One of them, I would say, once again, is the Boy and Girl Scouts on the Islamic chapter, which united and being put together with Islamic principles within it for the Muslim.
Okay, that's the one we talked about earlier. The girls, the Islamic Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. What else? What are some more examples of groups or organizations that we can form within our non-Muslim environments that will help us to maintain our identity as Muslims and also promote that we're good people, that we're people of value, we're people, you know, of intelligence and stuff. Any other suggestions?
We can do the boys and girls clubs where the boys will be in one section, girls in the other section, but also it's teaching them how to come together and be able to do their schoolwork or talk about what's going on with them and things like that.
Okay, boys clubs, girls clubs for the kids, teenage group clubs for the girls, teenage groups for the boys, camping for the boys, camping for the girls, things like that. What about for adults? Can y'all think of any examples of organizations or groups for the adults?
What about soup kitchens, like organizations to put things for people in need in the community, for the homeless or whatnot, and those who are in need in the Islamic community, like being able to donate food and clothes and things that are needed around the house?
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's what my cousin Mukhtar did. Mukhtar runs a soup kitchen every month. He goes to the inner city. Mukhtar goes to the inner city, what they call the hood. He goes down to the hood and brings food to the people and clothing to the people and things like that to promote our Islamic values. And it also builds that love amongst us. Also, library clubs. You know, that's something else that Mukhtar's mother, I think, put that together. In our community here, one of the suburbs here, they have a library club, you know, where she goes and reads about Islam or speaks about Islam to the adults that may be interested in learning about our way of life. She shares Islamic readings or Islamic verses of the Quran. So those are all great examples of groups and organizations we can do for the children and for the adults to promote our identity. That's giving dawah. And it's also maintaining our identity. Good job.
There's another one I want to mention real quick. We have over here. It is like a center, actually a safe house for women who are encountering like domestic violence for Muslim sisters, because a lot of the Muslim sisters don't know where to go to in that situation. So they deal a lot with their sisters that are Muslim, amongst other sisters who are dealing with that domestic violence, creating like a position where they can make a little money, have a safe haven with them and their kids. They are fed or whatnot. So all of that is implemented and included within that safe house.
Good job. Exactly. More places like that to shelter women who have Muslim women who have abusive backgrounds that they come from and stuff. Okay. Also, what are some examples of things Muslims can do with non-Muslims in their communities that will not impede upon our identity? What's something, and I don't want you guys to include the children in this, but what are things that the Muslim adults can do with the non-Muslim adults that will help to establish our values and not contradict our identity? Well, one thing she said is the shelter. That's an example. What else that you can do with the non-Muslim? The soup kitchens, of course. Yeah, the sister here, right? Yeah, the soup kitchens. Yeah, go ahead.
You can also do like volunteering, whether it's like volunteering on like a running marathon for like charity for like stuff like strokes and heart disease, or like any charity that benefits everyone in the community, not just Muslims, but others as well.
That's a great one. Yes, exactly. Doing, sponsoring marathons and things like that for cancer and to help deal with things that the community needs help with. Maybe they want to put a light down on public square. We need in our downtown, we need a better lighting in our downtown area. So I'm going to get together with the non-Muslims as an adult and try to come up with ideas that we can work together to try to bring lighting to make our downtowns more secure, or maybe our apartment complex. Maybe we need better lighting in our apartment complex. So I'm going to make a tenants group. I'm going to organize a tenants group and we can come together. You know me, I'm a unionist. I can organize a tenants union. Maybe the landlord ain't doing his job right. So we're going to organize a tenants association. Y'all know me. That's what I do. I'm always organizing something like that, so we can help get this manager to come out here and take care of the business. You know, so things like that that are positive, we can do. Somebody here on Facebook said we can educate them on our beliefs when they seek information. Exactly. You know, like I said, like Mukhtar mother did with the library. Meet at the library and talk about Islam. You know, go to the public schools. That's another good idea. We can go to the public schools in our area and talk about our experiences as Muslims. Talk about Islam. Talk about how, you know, about the Palestinians. Maybe this is a good idea. This sister here said that she's Palestinian. And one of the things that she did is went to the high school, and talked about Gaza, how it was, and showed pictures of how it was before this takeover. And she said it had people crying. Yeah, so things like that we can do within our community. Now, creating our own banks and stuff, Jamila, unless you some rich multimillionaire, we may not can do that stuff. We can't do that. I mean, unless you rich, how you gonna make your own bank or something? But we can help with this other type of stuff. All right.